After taking a 3-year break from RuneScape 3, I came back with one main goal, reclaiming my completion escape. And I have actually managed to do it. I have completed every quest, every task, and I have all the required levels to wear the cape. At least until the grace period ends. But there's one piece of content I barely touched since returning to the game, and that's the combat mastery achievements. Combat achievements have technically existed for years, but for the longest time they were mostly just there to flex. Now though, Jagex has expanded the system with unique challenges for every boss in the game. These new challenges not only allow you to flex even harder, but also give some useful rewards. As a solo player, I want to find out just how far I can actually push myself through this system. At what point will I get stuck? At what point do I need to actually get good to move forward? And at what point do I just start complaining on Reddit about the system? My name is Gamma, and thanks so much for clicking on this video. So here's the challenge. I will be completing the combat mastery achievements, but one boss at a time. That means fully finishing every achievement for a boss before moving on to the next one. No just farming easy points or rushing through tiers. I will also try to complete all the listed achievements, even the ones that do not give any mastery points, unless those are too inconvenient to complete. I do have a few goals for this series. The main one is unlocking War's Blessing 4. This gives permanent Reaper choice, meaning I can farm whatever boss I want while always earning Reaper points. It will also give a free ancient weapon and armor gizmo, which basically translates into free money. My second goal is actually learning the updated combat system. I don't just want to be brute forcing my way through the bosses. I want to understand the combat and unlock the secrets to mastering it by the end of the challenge. And finally, having fun. This really sounds like an enjoyable grind, and I'm excited to document the journey. Now, for the sake of this series, I've divided the bosses into 6 categories based on my PvM experience. We got the beginner, easy, medium, hard, expert, and finally group bosses. I expect to completely breeze through the first 2 categories. Medium and hard should take some effort, but I'm pretty confident that I can finish them all. And expert bosses though, that's where things are probably going to start falling apart. That's where I expect to hit achievements I simply cannot complete without improving as a player. And then there's group bosses, which are separated into their own category because they require a completely different skill set, social skills. And before we get started, this is how my combat mastery progress looks. I haven't even done the easy tier. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. With enough said, let's kick off with RuneScape's first boss, the King Black Dragon. So the challenges for this boss included slaying the King Black Dragon while wearing 6 pieces of black dragon hide. Weird. Some speed kill challenges and also killing him with and without anti-fire. Also making him deplete an anti-dragon shield with a cute baby mole attached to it. I bought everything I needed, I geared up and entered the King's Lair. So he really stood no chance against me. I'm almost max combat, so it only took 1 kill to complete 4 of the achievements simultaneously. Now I just needed him to deplete my mole shield, and since the shield has 500 charges and only 1 charge gets depleted per hit, I went to the Metal Dragon dungeon and sipped an aggression potion. This way I got the shield charges down to the lowest amount I could and returned to the KBD for him to get the finishing blow. Rest in peace, baby mole. Finally, I just got a kill with an anti-fire potion, and that was it. The king was down for good. All of the King Black Dragon challenges were completed. Next, I had to go for the queen, the Calphite Queen. This one was much more easier to complete than the King Black Dragon. I just needed to kill her in less than 1 minute and 30 seconds. So I got a hybrid setup with mage and melee and rushed into her lair in the desert. I just needed 1 kill to complete all of her mastery achievements. But since I want to complete all of the challenges, I went for 100 kills. I used this time to test some ability combinations like Runic Charge, Integrated Concentrated Blast, and Omnipower. Also, did you know that you can keep the Adrenaline gaining buff of the Havoc armor after switching gears? I think it happened because I was still wearing the boots, but let me know if that's the case or not in the comments. So I killed 100 Calphite Queens without any significant buff. Next, for the Barrow Brothers, I had already completed all the combat mastery achievements for this one, but I did not allow myself to move on to the next boss until full completion. So the remaining challenges require me to kill all the brothers with their respective weapon, including Lindsay and Akrisai. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I quickly regretted this when I had to pay 20 million coins for Barrack's Flail. Is nobody farming this boss or what? Also 15 mil for an Arim staff. That's crazy. This was a very expensive challenge for no mastery points. So I went around the crypt and finished all the brothers with their own weapon. And I fixed the weapons and went to the GE to sell them back, and oh boy, so they are not really selling back, not for even half of what I paid. So I will leave them there and hope to make some cash back. I also went for the 100 kills. Let me say that Barrows is so fast now with the portals that you unlock from War's Blessing 1. So you literally skip all the dungeon and go straight to the coffer in the middle. Also, did you know that you can deactivate Akrisai's prayer with the sacrifice ability? So this is very useful if you want to farm this boss and don't want to be swapping weapons or swapping styles. I also managed to get some loot, but nothing really special. Barrow Brothers combat achievements completed. The Giant Mole, everyone's favorite fight to do in RuneScape. So the challenges for this boss included some speed trials, stunning her during her berserk attack, and don't forget the 100 hard mode kills. I was really looking forward to that. 1 kill was enough for all the normal mode achievements. It seems that the mole is also weak to the Staff of Armadillo. The speed trials for the hard mode were not very much different, so 1 kill was enough to complete them. And I kept slaying the boss until 100 hard mode kills. I was hoping to get the pet before I completed this challenge, but no luck. So Giant Mole was also completed, and not much to add about this fight, except that it's very annoying. The Chaos Elemental. Well, I had completed the mastery achievements for this boss as well. I don't know when I did this. So I just did the 100 kills. I used range to start familiarizing with the style. Gale Shot, Integrated Ricochet, and Rapid Fire or Snapshot was enough to kill the boss. So I did 100 kills without any drops, and not much to add about the boss. I guess this used to be a challenge when PvP was a factor. Now that there's nobody hunting you down, there is nothing really challenging or interesting about this boss. I think it really should be relocated to another part of the wilderness, maybe to the Revenant Cave, or add something to it to make it relevant again. Ivar. Ivar is the newest boss in the game at the time of this video. It is designed to teach the player about prayer switching. The challenges included giving him a dinosaur bone mid-fight for his collection, praying correctly for all his special attacks, and for some reason burying 206 bones in the arena. So I did a few trips with bones in my inventory to complete this one, and I used a Spear of Annihilation with a Revolution setup to maximize the AFK-ness of this boss. I managed to get all of his drops except for the pets. So I might be back just to claim the pet. Next is the Silver Quill, also the newest boss in the game at this time. So this boss is like if the giant mole in Araxxor had a son. You get interrupted mid-fight twice to deal with a minion reflect mechanic that is very annoying. The mastery achievements included slaying the boss with a Haven silver weapon. I just used the one that you craft during the quest. Keep in mind that you have to defeat the boss while wearing nothing else but the sword. I also had to get a kill using melee without receiving any reflect damage. So you can only receive the reflect damage if you are on melee distance. So using a scythe was the answer to complete this challenge. Beginners can also use a halberd, maybe a rune or a dragon halberd. Finally, negating his blood hog attack with resonance. So this is the attack he does after you ignore the blobs that spawn after you deal a central amount of damage. But this was the first boss in the challenge that required me to do multiple kills to complete certain challenges. So even for a beginner boss, it does a lot of damage if you are not paying much attention. I used range because I wanted to deal with the blobs using greater ricochet or corruption shot. But there is a weird interaction where the blobs spawn in between you and the boss, and it's like if they were terrain that makes you lose vision of the boss and cannot continue casting abilities until you move or kill the blobs by clicking on them. So, using imbue shadows into greater ricochet gives you like 60% adrenaline back. That's really good. Then you can cast Death Shot for free and use a rapid fire to gain even more adrenaline. Range is looking very fun. All the combat achievements for the Silver Quill were completed, but no pet drop yet. The final boss for the beginner category is the Fleet Hatcher Mekarnes. So saying his name is much harder than the fight itself. And to my surprise, this boss had no mastery achievements at all. So I just went for the 100 kills. The boss seems to have some telegraph attacks that require you to dodge. They're very good for beginner players to learn dodge mechanics. But the fight never lasted too long, so I could see them all. I focused on kill time mostly and testing all the ranged abilities. My fastest kill was achieved with the following rotation: Dead Swiftness, drink an adrenaline pot, imbue shadows, Gale Shot into greater ricochet, cast Death Shot for free, rapid fire, and ended with a dark bow special in my essence of finality. I managed to get one of the drops, the Stalker Charm, which is a low level ranged amulet. I like this boss, and I guess Iron Man love it too due to the amount of fletching materials it provides. I also like the speed in which you can reset the kill, loot the corpse, and get into the fight immediately. Now we are done with the beginner category. Even though I am technically max combat, I feel like beginner players should not have any problems completing any of these challenges. So let's move on to the easy section. So I guess Jad was once considered a hard boss due to the waves of monsters that you had to go through and the potential one-hit KO of the boss. But now the whole fight has been very heavily power crept. So I did a Jad kill in the previous video for when I was doing the killy task, and I managed to complete all of the achievements in one kill without realizing it. I guess the hardest achievement for this boss is the speed kill, but with good gear and decent levels you can definitely get it. Obviously missing one last achievement, which is not a mastery achievement, and it requires to use a fire cape on the boss before you get the kill. I went for it just to complete everything in the list. I was going to put this boss in the beginner category, but you do need some preparation and previous knowledge of the boss mechanics to be able to defeat him. But the Jad combat achievements were completed. Now Raziel's adopted son, Hermod. I had already killed this boss more than 100 times when Necromancy came out, and the mastery achievements required killing the boss in less than 45 seconds and not getting hit by the obliterate attack. I was pretty confident I could do them in one kill since my Necro gear had received several upgrades in the past month and I am very familiar with the style now. If you focus on using 3 death skulls during your living death, your Necro DPS will skyrocket. This is why getting a Suck Cape is one of the most important unlocks for every style. The obliterate attack is very slow, you just need to move to the side once you start doing the animation. All the Hermod mastery achievements were completed in one kill. The Dagon of Kings. So this is where the combat achievements start getting tricky. The hardest part is killing them all within 5 seconds of each other. It took many tries due to accidentally killing one of the kings, either with poison, a familiar, or the crackling perk. So if you want to do this one, make sure to use none of that. So get them all to low HP, at least 5k. You can apply a bleed to the first one and try to finish the other 2 as fast as possible. Other achievements require me to get 1 kill, which each color of the Balmung. If you don't know what this is, it's a quest weapon. It has a high hit chance and damage against the Dagon, but it only works against the Supreme. You can change the color after the quest, and this is a good weapon for Irons if you don't have a good melee weapon to kill Supreme. Dagon of Kings combat achievements were also completed. Now it's time for some God Wars dungeon action. Starting with General Gwardur. To start, you have to defeat the general with your bare hands, no weapons allowed. You also have to defeat him while all his minions are down. This sounds pretty easy, but they actually respawn very quick, so get him as low as possible and try to kill him before the minions spawn. In hard mode, you have to defeat him in less than 24 seconds. So using Berserker with Greater Barge and Chaos Roar does the trick. Just pray that he does not use the Gwardur Protect special, or it's gonna hurt a lot. Other achievements require you to avoid his mechanics and get at least 1 kill this way. I had such a hard time trying to understand how these mechanics worked. The Reflect mechanics, called Gwardur Protect, really takes the fun out of this fight. So I prefer getting one-shotted by not praying correctly or not using a defensive on time than getting one-shotted by myself or dealing too much damage. Skill issues, I guess. And sometimes he does this back to back. His other specials, where there's match, for some reason it cleans him of my bleeds, and I could never figure out where the rocks were gonna fall from. Gwardur Mad was okay, he just wanted to vent. After 100 hard mode kills, we forgot what we were fighting in the first place and became good friends. He told me he was planning on taking down Suck on his own, but I don't think he can. The General Gwardur achievements were completed. Then it was time to face Commander Ciliana. The sound effects in this boss are one of the best I've ever heard in any video game. Please turn your sound to the max and go kill the boss right now. Thank me later. This boss has always been like the black sheep of God Wars Dungeon 1. Like, have you ever met someone that's farming this boss for a drop? Like, the only interesting drops has always been like the Saradomin Sword or the God Sword, which nobody uses anymore. For her challenges, you need to defeat her with a full set of proselyte armor. You can buy one from Certification and Falador. I also completed the speed kill, 42 seconds in hard mode while doing this. Melee really is busted. My favorite part about the hard mode fight is the 10-second animation that the boss does in between phases. You can skip this, by the way, and she becomes untargetable. Then you need to finish her off with an ultimate ability, or she keeps coming back to life. Good luck doing this without a suck cape. I went for the 100 mode kills because I hate myself, and so I bought the new Chaotic Grimoire. It gives 7% crit chance, so with the full Elite Tectonic that gives 2% per piece, and the enhanced Berserker Ring adding 5% to the build, I had 10% crit chance according to Jagex. Anyways, Mage crit build with the Staff of Armadillo is super fun. I just can't wait to try this on a real boss. I got the new Necromancy necklace that was added to the drop table. It sold for nothing yet. I also got a Sarah sword. I completed the Commander Juliana combat achievement with no pet drop yet. And I was kidding about killing her with sounds, by the way, don't do it. Now for Kriara, the hard mode fight was way less tedious than the previous one. It also had like a stalling mechanic where you cannot attack until it ends, but it's significantly shorter. It does not reflect damage back to you, and you do not lose the boss as a target, so you can just continue pressing abilities and it's gonna attack the boss. You do not need to click on the boss again. The speed kill requirement was 30 seconds, which was achieved on the first try. Not getting hit by the tornadoes was a tricky one. It took a few tries, especially because it recalls all the tornadoes and sends them back during the special attack. So repositioning your camera to more like a top-down angle really helps. Revolution works nice even in hard mode, so if you're going for 25 kills or 100 kills, Revolution does the job. I did get some nice amount of drops along the way and made some cash. Still no Kriara pet, but Kriara combat achievements completed. The final boss of the God Wars Dungeon 1 is Krill. I already had 91 hard mode Krill kills. I may have been pet hunting a few years ago. For these achievements, you have to defeat Krill with a willow weapon. This might be a reference to Lord of the Rings, I don't know. On the same kill, I was able to complete one of the speed challenges and also debilitating his prayer draining special. I went back and got the speed kill of 24 seconds in normal mode, and also getting a kill after boss used the prayer draining attack 3 times in one kill. In hard mode, you just need to kite him around the arena while manually throwing abilities to avoid the charge and the smash attack. The speed kill for the hard mode was not that hard either. It's using Sunshine plus the Staff of Armadillo, and a simple rotation does the job fine. I think you can even get it without the Staff of Armadillo and just a normal rotation. My fastest kill was 16.2 seconds. I went for the 100 kills for a pet chance and no luck yet. But Krill done and God Wars Dungeon 1 done. These were all the bosses that I had in my easy category, and so far everything feels doable. Maybe the hard mode speed kills might be challenges for players using Revolution or with lower level gear, but it is doable. Now let's go for the medium category. First I have Corp, the Corp Beast. Remember to bring a cannon to the fight. This counters the shadow that it spawns by making it stand still, and it makes the fight much more easier. You only need a 30-second kill for his speed achievements. That's pretty easy. This actually felt easier than the hard mode God Wars 1 kills. You also need to get a kill using a bronze spear. You cannot use a cannon for this one. I tested it out with a cyclone, and it did not award the achievement. But with good gear, getting this one is not impossible. Just remember to use all your bleeds whenever they are available for sustain, and build it here and there, and save Hurricane for the shadow that spawns while moving left and right to avoid it. So the core beast achievements were completed. I feel like this one was very fun. The Queen Black Dragon. This one has always been one of my favorite bosses. I remember when it came out, it was super hard, but you made bank if you got a drop. The mastery achievements for the QBD are very scary, especially if you're a hardcore Iron Man. As always, we start with the speed kill challenges. If you kill it fast enough, she won't even do the fire breath attack, and the required time for the speed kill is 1 minute and 30 seconds. In my opinion, 1 minute is like the average kill time for this boss, or it is very doable at mid-level. Especially if you use anti-dragon ammo like the Jazz Dragon Bane or the Dragon Bane bolts. I forgot that the Royal Crossbow is not tradable, so I had to create another one. During this process, I also got the achievements where you need to kill one of the tortured souls with the Cloud attack. For this, just wait for her to spawn the 4 souls on the final phase and move southwest just like this. This will make all the clouds to hit one of the souls, and it's gonna kill it automatically. I brandish the new crossbow and return to get a kill with it. This weapon brings back so much nostalgia. The final and scariest achievement is surviving 8 times stop attack. This means being frozen for about 10 seconds, receiving random damage without being able to eat or use any abilities. This is not suitable for hardcores, so if you can barricade just before this, that would be a good idea. I still haven't gotten the pet for this boss either, with over 800 kills. Now let's go for the Rex Matriarchs. I placed this boss in the medium category, but they do feel like the strongest in comparison to the others. But they are not hard enough for the hard tier. They also released a necromancy version of the boss. It's called Osseous. There are mastery achievements for each boss, and that requires you to defeat one after another within 5 seconds. Just like the Daganut Kings, but a little bit harder. First, I went for Rathis. You need to absorb all of the poison, avoiding him to heal during the fight. Orichalca made this much more harder for me, but I am very stubborn and went for the kill instead of TPing and coming back. For the Orichalca achievement, you need to get rid of the Frostbite mechanic by standing on the chuck mechanic on the floor. You can use Devotion and pray melee when standing on the chuck mechanic to get rid of the Frostbite and to not get damaged by the chuck mechanic. This is pretty standard since you are required to do this in a normal kill, unless you kite him before he does this mechanic. For the Mage Matriarch, you need to dodge the Converging Light attack. You just move on the side when you see the lightning to avoid getting hit by it. Also, you need to reduce the damage of this mechanic by using insulated boots. So you need at least 2 kills for these achievements. And I went right to Osseous. I was very surprised by this fight. It's like a mini Raksha. It was harder than I expected. I died a couple of times trying to understand the stun mechanic, and it took a few attempts to get all of the achievements. Dead Skulls and Threads of Fate works like a charge for the Baby Dinosaur challenge. And being ready with Freedom or Anticipation after you hear the roar to avoid getting stunned. The final challenge was getting the simultaneous kills for the 3 Matriarchs. I used a hybrid setup without poison, crackling, or a familiar that does damage. So the trick is to go for one at a time, getting them as low as possible, then running back to the entrance to reset the boss. So the bosses will not heal, so you can do this for all of the 3 bosses. Once you have them low enough, lure them close to each other and go for the killing blow. Use a bleed for the first one and quickly kill the remaining 2 as fast as you can. Surprisingly, this only took 1 attempt. The drops are also very good for this boss. I had one more achievement left for this boss, and it was to free all the baby dinosaurs. But I won't be completing this one since it does not give any mastery points, and I will need to spend over 150 mil GP. So no thanks. The Legions. The Legions is a boss that I avoided like a plague, mainly because the key mechanic was too annoying and you only made profit after completing the crossbow. Now there is only one key for all of the bosses, so it is much better. For the achievements, I needed to defeat all of the 6 bosses without leaving the dungeon. And the fights are pretty easy and very similar. There are a few exceptions like Legion number 3. But all you need to do is use devotion and try to one-shot the boss or run around without getting hit. The hardest part of these achievements was defeating each boss at least once without moving during the fight. I can feel that this one is very scary for hardcores, since these bosses do a lot of damage if you don't dodge the lightning. I did end up dying quite a lot of times to complete this. So you need to use devotion and a good rotation with adrenaline potions, so if you want to complete this challenge without dying. Finally, I killed 100 just to complete the list, and was able to get 2 signets without any pets. This one was actually fun and fast because you can reset the kill manually. The last boss on the medium category is the Hurricane. The achievements require to complete a run in less than 30 minutes without using any crystals or defeating any of the tentacles in the final boss. I wanted to do this in one run to not waste any time, so I went for it. In the middle of the run, I realized I forgot my pickaxe, but did you know that you can take it out of your tool belt? I got to the final boss in 22 minutes and quickly dismissed the Reaper Demon since it started attacking the tentacles. I would have ruined my run and I would have to do another one just to get the no killing tentacles achievement. So I killed Hurricane without killing any tentacles and completed all the challenges in one run. After this, I completed 2 tiers of the mastery achievements. I had easy and medium, and I am very close to unlocking War's Blessing 3. I feel like I completed a bunch of bosses, but barely scratched the surface of what this challenge has to offer. And to not make this video too long, I will make a part 2 and get started with the hard category. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.